This is me. A few days ago, I was in Milano. After a cancelled flight, first thing in the morning, I hopped on another plane, then on a train, and there I was, at the heart of a very touristic city with 1.3 million residents and more than 8.8 million tourists every year. Now that's a lot, and Milano has a very big problem with pollution. I went to Milano for an event called Enel Focus On, where we talked about improving our life the smartest way possible. Now back to Milano. The air is so thick that if you have a sensitive nose, after more than an hour outside, the only thing you can smell is diesel. Now Milano doesn't have so many cars, right? Wrong. They are everywhere, parked in two lines on the side of the road, on the grass, on the sidewalks, in what used to be small parks between road lanes, and not just cars. Because the city was built a long time ago, where cars were merely a dream in the minds of maybe 10 people all around the world, the streets are so narrow, the buildings are so solid, so there's no way of making them wider. Thus, everyone who doesn't own a car has a scooter, probably a 10-year-old scooter with no exhaust filters. And they have a scooter just out of necessity, to be able to move around the city and much more faster than with a car. So we have a problem. What's the solution? Electric cars and scooters, and maybe electric buses, because you will never be able to get rid of the car for good. Let's face it, commodity is a thing you cannot refuse. Yes, electric public transport is a viable option, but not for everyone, not right now. In 10 years from now, when we will have at least 100 times more electric cars than in the present, there will be another problem. Where do we get the electricity to charge them from? I mean, right now, every city has major problems with electric grids not being able to provide power to increasing household consumption. That's why we've seen a lot of blackouts in 2018 and 2019, a lot more than 10 years ago. Well, Enel has a solution for this, that they're going to implement in São Paulo, a city with more than 12 million residents. It's a smart grid made out of a lot of smart sensors, smart meters, and a lot of AI and digital mapping of the environment. Yes, it's a pain in the ass to implement this, a lot of cars patrolling the cities, a lot of well-built men to carry that 45-pound backpack full of cameras and satellite positioning equipment, but once it's ready, the electric grid will be in part automated. That means if there's a power outage in a neighborhood, the grid quickly adapts and diverts power from another place where there is a large enough reserve. And yes, this smart grid, called Network Digital Grid, will be available in the future for other developers to build services and apps on top of it. It's much more interesting than it sounds once you see it. So, the solution from Enel to solve this problem is to make the electricity grid smarter. And here comes a term that we rarely hear. It's called a prosumer. It's that guy that installs solar panels on his house, doesn't have any batteries, and all the excess electricity delivers to the grid. In the future, when everyone has an electric car, it's going to charge overnight. So if there's a power outage, the car will be able to provide a little bit of battery along with other cars in the neighborhood for the affected areas. So that's what Enel is trying to do with the smart grid. He's trying to deliver power from anyone who doesn't use it right now to the areas that need it. But for this thing to happen, we need a lot of programmers. 2.1 million to be precise, to analyze all the data that's coming in from Enel and other companies who are working together, because in the next 5 to 10 years, the main job will be a programmer, a data analyst, let's say. So you have to start learning now. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you didn't, well, you know what to do. My name is Radu, and see you in the next one. Cheers!